everything I said about utopianism and the fact that it's been tried a lot of times and how it's failed and how it's nothing new. All these youngsters think that they're on the cutting edge of societal evolution. They really believe that. Wow. They're like, man, we're all these old fuddy-duddies who believe in this antiquated capitalism, free market capitalism. They don't know. They need to get with the hipsters of today that are on the cutting edge of societal evolution, and they don't realize that what they are advocating for is not only thousands of years old. I mean, you go back before Plato's Republic and all that. Go back as far as you can imagine. Everybody's always been trying to micromanage a giant society that is micromanaged from a centralized government. This is nothing new. And it really starts with a king and a queen. And the only thing that's different with communism is instead of a king or queen, there's a democratically elected government whose job it is to enslave you.
Right.
To enrich them.
So the word kibbutz, which I know you probably have heard that before. I've heard it many times too before. The word kibbutz means like in Israel, the concept is farm/residence. And the basic principles is that anyone can come and stay, be fed, as long as they work towards the upkeep of the kibbutz. You could stay 2 days, you could stay a lifetime. There's 278 of these in Israel, and they're often strictly Orthodox Jewish, requiring nobody to work on Sunday. And
Sunday or Saturday?
Or Saturday, sorry. It's has it spelled in
Hebrew?
Yeah, that language.
Okay.
And the basic, they are the basic communist templates because often there's really no money exchanged at all. It's just residence farming, and transactions are.
So it's little communes.
Yes,
but really small.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know what the definition of small is. I don't know how small is.
I mean, I look at it this way. You want to talk about communism? Let's bring it down. Let's scale it all the way down to its tiniest form. A household, a single household. Your children live in utopia.
Correct.
Oh, they wake up in the morning.
They don't even know it. They don't even know it. Of course not. They can't appreciate it either.
Why do they have to live in a utopia? Because they're not smart enough, strong enough, and all the above to take care of themselves.
Those responsibilities and those.
They can't go and find their own food.
Change his diaper.
Well, you're talking really young. I mean, even a toddler or child, whatever, that's potty trained, whatever. Sure, they won't be able to change their diapers, but even the ones that are taught how to use the potty, they can't be expected to find clean water and food and be able to maintain a shelter of some sort. So we provide a commune for them.
Replace the family unit with the government. And the government will provide that shelter for the children all the way up until they're 26. And then after 26, when there are no jobs, don't you worry. I got your kibbutz.
There you go. No, but here's the reason why. This is why communes work in a family unit. Because the father and sometimes mother and sometimes both go out for 8 to 12 hours a day, depending on what kind of job. 7 days or even more, or 5 days or more a week.
8 days a week.
And bust their butt earning money in order for the children to live in a commune. Which is their own house.
And why do
their own house is a little tiny little piece of a utopia.
Right. And why do the mother and father now in America have to work? Maybe something to do with inflation, maybe something to do with overspending, maybe something to do with underpaid employees, maybe something to do with all of this, and the government has their hand in on everything.
Well, also, I would say it has a lot to do with, I think the cost of living has gotten so high, not because this is the actual cost to stay alive and anything less you die, but because people look at stuff like cell phones and cable as a necessity.
Well, and being poor and on welfare, you will have cell phones and cable.
Satellite dish in the tenement.
Right.
A bunch of them.
Oh, Yes.
An array of satellite dishes at a tenement.
Right, and every satellite dish has the 3 things on it, so you can have 3 TVs per dish.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, for every one of those bulbs that point back at the dish, that's 1 TV, and you can have up to like 3 of them.
All on one dish.
All on one dish.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
And the tenements have those.
Oh.
The array. You see them, it looks like...
It does. It's awful.
So the cost of living is more expensive. Plus, look at schooling. A lot more people send their kids to private school, and these are not wealthy people.
Well, they're doing it because yes,
because they care about their little communists,
little Johnny,
their little communists.
Yes. Oh,
So anyway,
little red schoolhouse on the hill.
So yeah, your little family, your children live in a utopia. They don't have to work. No. All they do is play. They do whatever they want. If they want to do art, they do art. If they want to do music, they do music. If they want to play a sport, they can play a sport. All that's required of them is to go to school. But really, do they need to? They need to for when they get to be an adult because they need the education.
Right.
But the only reason you're sending them to it is because you're preparing them for the future.
Correct.
But what if they never grew up? And you never died, and you were just the same age forever. You would continue to work 8 hours a day while they continue to be this little... That's what it's like for adults in a communist country. They live from, as adults, from 18 to, let's say, 85, right?
Cradle to grave.
Cradle to grave. You're the children of the daddy, which is the state. Now, here's the problem. They don't get to earn the kind of money that a dad or a mom does in a household. They don't get to go out. They have to pretty much steal from everybody. And everywhere they have to come up with some sort of an export. Or like that's why, what about the Scandinavian countries?
The who's?
Oh my gosh, that's the big, huge argument. They talk about how the Scandinavian countries who live in some sort of a utopia, if you will, they'll say this to you. I haven't done my research, so I can't say they're a bunch of liars. I'm going ahead and assuming that they're telling the truth until I find out otherwise. So assuming that they're right about the Scandinavian countries being in this communist utopia that actually works where everybody's happy and everybody
shops at IKEA.
Right.
And they all live in a one closet.
No, they work at IKEA. That's all it is. The whole entire country
works in IKEA. No, I've seen shows on TV where they'll do international home buying. Like they take a couple to go shopping for a home internationally. My wife's all up on this. So we're into all the shows there for a long time. And man, you see some of these closets that they're looking to buy. The closet. They're buying a closet. $200,000, $150,000.
You mean they're going to live in the closet?
Right. And the kitchen, the living room, and the bathroom are all one room.
I mean, I've seen that in Japan.
Oh no, it's come to the Scandinavians.
Oh, so yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I'm under the impression, without knowing the truth of whether or not all those countries are totally communist or what, but they have a huge oil export. And as long as you have there's two things you need. You need a giant, expensive export that's going to just have you get flooded with money. And number two, it has to be something that you can produce and provide to other countries cheaply.
Right.
It can't take a lot of labor because anytime your communism or your communist country requires a lot of labor, it's going to fail.
Well, look at what's going on with China right now. Their economy is absolutely imploding.
Your average Chinese person is very poor. I mean, it's a very poor place to live.
Well, yeah, but
I mean, in a little. You talk about a closet.
They're talking. The government had to stop the market for a couple of days.
Well, one of their biggest. Well, they export, the little trinkets to America, but it's not an expensive export. No. We buy it for pennies, and so that's what they use to provide the wealth for the country. I
got this guy, this older guy that I work with, and he does a lot of woodworking projects. A buddy of mine bought 2 Cincinnati Reds baseball seats from the stadium. Said they're $30 a piece. He gave him the 2 seats, and this guy in his spare time built a wooden stand, if you will, that the seats sat in, and in between the seats was second base that he bought. So it was like an armrest, but it was second base.
That's cool.
And it almost looked like something out of a car. It was really, really awesome. And man, it took him forever.
Okay.
And his wife and his daughter, he was telling me this today, and he said his wife and his daughter have been, oh, you got to do that. Take it to the markets and sell it. And he and I both looked at each other, and I said, I know what it takes to make woodworking projects. And you can't make nothing on that compared to going to Walmart and buying it.
Well, because they have giant factories that mass produce it on assembly lines.
Right.
And to be able to do, sure, it looked cool. When it comes to woodworking, custom woodworking like that, it's a labor of love.
Right. And the only one you're going to sell it to, the very, very small market, is you're going to have to find somebody that really loves and cherishes that, and they have a lot of money.
And they're willing to spend that, it has to be an obscene amount of money. And the reason I say that is because it's like that show, American Restoration. You know, it's something that they'll spend a week on, a whole week restoring some old antique.
Right.
The amount of materials and labor,
labor alone is insane.
Ridiculous. But guess what? Some really wealthy person says, this has got to be part of my collection.
Right. Not because anybody else says it's worth what they think it's worth. I believe and am willing to part with this amount of money to obtain this item.
I got to have it.
Regardless, maybe a childhood heirloom, something that he wrote in as a child and he remembered the wind whipping through his hair.
Right. And how many of those things could he make a day, the chair thing with the base on it?
Oh, no, that took a week.
Right.
That took forever.
So you can only make 52 of them in a year.
We said that if he got $500 for that, like the chair, the bases, and all the woodworking involved, like $400 or $500. But nobody's going to pay it.
Well, I think that people would pay the $500, but they wouldn't be flying off the shelf.
No, you're supply and demand, correct?
Right. I think that somebody who
it's going to sit on eBay for a few weeks.
Somebody's going to have a baseball-themed man cave or porch. Because it's like this outdoor seats, right?
And the guy that he made it for at work is an insane single 50-year-old insane season ticket holding Reds aficionado. He knows the names and the players and the dates and the places.
So he has one customer. He's not going to be a repeat customer.
Yeah.
He's going to buy that one thing.
But that guy, the guy that is the insane Reds aficionado, he bought the 2 seats, brought it to this old guy and said, hey, man, can you hook me up? Can you make something? I think he only gave him maybe $150.
Oh, my God. Well, even if he gave market value, let's say, I don't know, $600. It took him a whole week to make. That's just not enough money. And then how much do you have involved in the material?
He told me that he was making, he said he divided the money up and it was something like $3 to $5 an hour.
Right. That reminds me of my dad when he was he would go and buy items at auction and then try to either resell it in different places or it could be a yard sale or whatever. And he said the amount of money that he would spend and earn back divided by the amount of time that he was investing, he said he was barely breaking $1 an hour.
Time.
$1 an hour.
Right. Time is the most precious thing.
Oh, yeah.
Ever. You don't get it back.
Yeah. I mean, you should be definitely earning a good amount per hour.
Like us spending 3 hours a week. And then all the time for the show prep leading up to the show. It's a labor of love, folks.
Rush said he does 9 hours of prep for every 3-hour show.
Well, but his 3-hour show technically is only an hour and a half long.
That's true.
He's got an hour and a half of commercials.
So he's prepping 9 hours for that? But that might be 9 man hours. So there's 9 people
So
working
he's got
1 hour.
So he's got